All right, ready. Boxing News Online, live with Russ Anber, jack of all trades in the boxing world. Russ, tell us what you've been up to as of late.
Well, I mean, everything. I mean, I just got back from. Just to give you an idea, I think I'd rather preface it this way. When I finally came back home after the Wilder fight, and then I was in Chicago for the Beterbiev fight, and Alvarez fought up there as well. I came back home, I come up to customs, and I hand him in my passport. The guy opens the passport and looks at me and says, "Where were you? Where are you coming from?" And I swear to God, I drew a blank. Like I couldn't remember where I was coming from. That's how busy I've been. So it's been a great run. I mean, this last year has been just fantastic. I mean, from Macau to here, and winning the heavyweight title with Deontay Wilder, defending it. I was with Badu Jack when he won the title. I was with Jesse Vargas in Macau. I was with Jesse Vargas in California. I was at the Andre Ward fight. I was with Jean. Man, I'm living the life. I mean, this is like a dream come true for me. This is what I dreamed of as a kid, and it's happening. It's becoming a reality.
That's fantastic. We'll ask a few questions, touch on a few points, but what we want to know, more than anything, really, the biggest fight in the heavyweight division was made this week.
Yeah,
one of the heaviest. Yeah. So Klitschko will finally be fighting Fury. Mm-hmm. So your thoughts on that fight, and then as a follow-up, tell us what your thoughts obviously will be on the follow-up, which will be
hopefully Wilder.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I got all the respect in the world for Vladimir Klitschko. I mean, I have respect for anybody in any profession who stays on top of their game, who stays among the best in their sport, in their discipline, who conducts themselves with class, who honors the sport, and I think Klitschko falls into that group. I've got all the respect in the world for him. I was lucky enough to have been around him on a few occasions, including a training camp, which we did when we took Deontay over there to work with him, and they're professional in every sense of the word. I have all the respect in the world for them, and I think that the fight is going to be another Klitschko performance of greatness that he puts on, and I know that sometimes his fights can sometimes be boring, and sometimes the people criticize him for the way he attacks certain aspects of a fight, but I got full respect for the way the guy has done his job, and he does it properly and professionally, and I got full respect for the guy.
What does Fury need to do in order to stay in the game and potentially have a shot at beating
Well, I think
Klitschko?
the first thing you'd have to do, I mean, you can't lay on the end of the Klitschko right hand. If that starts to get through, I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? Like, you start landing that shot. If you don't take away that from Klitschko, you've got a big problem. So he needs to at least first neutralize that, and then he's got to make Klitschko pay, and he's got to be able to put some punishment on Klitschko. If you let Klitschko dictate, usually when he dictates the outcome as well.
And Klitschko hasn't fought a guy this big in quite a while.
Yeah.
So how do you feel that size will play into this?
You should be able to exploit that size. That's a very good point that you raised, because Klitschko has the habit of being and has always used that technique of using his reach and his height to neutralize the opponent, push them down, hold them at bay, just stay away long enough, use his arms to This could be a little bit more difficult, but it's not going to be the first time he's fought somebody that big. I think he'll learn how to handle it. He just won't be able to do some of the techniques and stuff that he uses against shorter guys. I don't think he'll be able to use it against somebody like Tyson Fury. But Tyson's going to have to fight like a big man and put some hurt on him. He's going to have to come there to fight and want to come back and really take it a little bit into the trenches with Klitschko. And I don't think he can rely on the finesse.
And how will the winner of that fight fare against your guy Deontay?
You know what? I'm just worried about Deontay's next fight. I'm just worried about keeping Deontay learning, keeping him developing. People, and I get very upset when I read on on Twitter or Instagram the negative comments that are said about Wilder from people who don't know anything about his development or his history or his involvement as a fighter. They just see a big guy, who calls himself champion, who's loud, and he brings a lot of that on himself, I'll agree, but they don't understand, what this guy has accomplished in such a short period of time. And it's almost virtually, something else people don't, it's virtually it was almost 10 years, almost to the day, from the first day he walked into the gym to becoming heavyweight champion of the world. There's not a lot of guys who do that, and there's a lot of development that has to take place. So right now, you know, I mean, I like Deontay's chances against anybody in the world, and I like them because Deontay is somebody who wants to learn. He's athletic, but he wants to learn the finer arts of boxing, and I think that's what has helped a great deal in his progress, is learning those subtleties and the art of boxing. Most recently, in his last fight, we had a crew from ESPN that was down, that was doing you know, some recording, and they were taping him, and the cameraman, who's a big boxing fan, posed one of the questions to us and says, "You got Deontay fighting like a welterweight." And when he said that, I thought, you know, that's the best compliment you could give somebody, because in all the other weight divisions, whenever a guy's not doing good, you always criticize him and say, you know, you're fighting like a heavyweight, which is to imply that you're clumsy and you're not doing things right. So to say that about a heavyweight, that he's fighting like a welterweight, I feel we're doing a good job. So
fantastic.
I'm happy with that.
And another big man that always comes into the conversation, at least is becoming increasingly more entered into the conversation of heavyweight prospects, is Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
So tell us your thoughts on him, and then how you see him eventually evolving and being thrown in the mix.
He's going to be thrown in the mix. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's a given. I mean, I was impressed with him and his performance at the Olympic Games even. So, I mean, you know that this kid, unless barring some, you know, bad management decisions or, you know, bad fights to take, this guy's going to develop, and he's a great kid. He wants to learn. I think this is going to be something mega. You know, like Wilder's lucky that there's not only going to be one mega fight for him, there could be a few mega fights for him in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division is going to start jumping, and it's going to start jumping soon with Wilder and Joshua on the scene. In my mind, there's no doubt about that.